Beloved beings of light, welcome to this transformative video. Today, we're going to talk about one of the greatest cycles that hold people back, something at the root of many lives, and, if unrecognized, can limit you forever. Have you ever felt as if life was something that simply happens to you, beyond your control? If so, you're not alone. The truth is, at some point, we've all experienced this. The key to transformation lies in recognizing what's happening and understanding how to break free from this cycle. The good news is that you can free yourself from it, and today you'll discover how. For much of our lives, we've been conditioned to believe we're victims of circumstances. We've been taught that life is something that just happens to us, and that we are passive participants in this journey. You wake up every day, often not knowing what to expect, feeling as if life is against you. Some days are good, others bad, but deep down, there's always that feeling of helplessness, that no matter how much you try, something always goes wrong. It might be small or significant, but ultimately, you feel at the mercy of external circumstances and other people's choices. You constantly find yourself struggling against obstacles, just trying to survive and avoid failure, yet feeling trapped nonetheless. This is level 1 of consciousness, the lowest level, where people feel bound to their past, controlled by their fears, and consistently blame the external world for their hardships. This is where you live in reaction mode, reacting to life's circumstances rather than acting consciously. Many here feel incapable of changing the reality around them, believing they're being punished or simply don't deserve more than constant struggle. This state of mind is commonly known as the victim mentality. Unfortunately, you can see this everywhere around you. People who constantly say things like, "Why does this always happen to me?" Or, "I never manage to get things right, no matter how hard I try." These words reflect a mindset that sees itself as a victim, believing there's no control over one's own life. However, the truth is, when you see yourself as a victim, you start looking for evidence that life is unfair. Each rejection, mistake, or failure confirms that the world is against you. The problem is, when you cling to this perspective, you end up creating your own reality. You live in constant reaction, avoiding what scares you and resisting what you can't control. You sabotage yourself, believing you're destined to fail, and most importantly, you believe change isn't an option. You become accustomed to this life of perpetual struggle, ultimately becoming part of the problem rather than the solution. But what happens when you realize this doesn't have to be your fate? What if I told you this is just a phase, a temporary stage of consciousness? What if you knew you could break free from this mental prison and change the course of your life? The good news is, you have the power to change. The question now is, will you remain trapped in this cycle, repeating painful patterns and seeing yourself as a victim? Or will you decide to break the cycle and take control of your life? This is the critical point. The choice is in your hands. Once you realize this victim mindset is merely a phase, a mental construct, you'll be able to advance to the next level of consciousness. But to do so, you must make a conscious choice, and only you can make that decision. What will you do with this knowledge? The next step, at the next level, will determine whether you remain trapped in these cycles or free yourself for a life of growth and transformation. After years of feeling powerless, as if life just happens to you, a profound realization begins to emerge. What if I could take control? This marks the beginning of level 2 of consciousness, where the perception that you're more than just a victim starts to shift. Here, you begin to feel it's possible to have power over your own life. Instead of being a passive spectator, you decide to take the reins of your existence. You engage in a process of change, setting goals, making plans, striving to become a better version of yourself. This stage is marked by ambition, self-improvement, and actively seeking results. You dive deeper into concepts like the law of attraction, the power of positive thinking, and manifestation strategies. You believe that if you work hard, visualize success, and think positively, you can achieve anything. This initial empowerment mindset brings some victories. You start reaching some of your goals, feeling life is finally going your way. For the first time, you realize you have control. The feeling that you can make things happen is powerful, and the world seems to align to give you opportunities you've long desired. However, over time, something strange begins to happen. The control you've started exercising over your life becomes harder to maintain. Some things don't go as planned, despite all your effort and dedication. Unexpected setbacks, failures, and situations beyond your control appear. Frustration creeps in. You start questioning if you're doing enough, if you should try harder, and whether you're failing somehow. Fear of not achieving desired results grows, and you feel the need to push even harder. The search for control intensifies. More discipline, more visualization, more hard work. You become obsessed with controlling every detail of your life. Yet, as you try to control more, you realize this isn't bringing the satisfaction you expected. Instead, the pressure of maintaining constant control begins to drain your energy. You find yourself trapped in a cycle of trying to control everything but never truly feeling in control. Every failure becomes proof that something's wrong, and every mistake is seen as personal failure. You're consumed by the idea of needing always to be in control, and the fear of losing that control takes over your mind. This fear begins eating away at your inner peace. You're so focused on controlling your reality that you don't realize this very desire for control causes stress and anxiety. Here's the turning point. Control isn't the answer. Real change doesn't come from constantly dominating your surroundings, but from trusting life to unfold in ways you can't predict, yet which are equally, if not more, beneficial. Life isn't something you need to force. True transformation occurs when you trust life's natural flow and open yourself to whatever comes without trying to manage every detail. The secret to peace and success isn't forcing things to happen, but allowing them to unfold naturally, with trust and acceptance. Now, you begin to realize life isn't something to be forced. It's meant to be lived. Resistance decreases and trust increases. But this doesn't happen overnight. The next step toward transformation is learning to open yourself up to life, trusting its process, and allowing life to flow through you instead of constantly trying to control it. This is the next stage of the journey, transitioning from struggle into flow. After years of constant effort to control all aspects of your life, you recognize a fundamental truth. No matter how much you try, life remains unpredictable. No matter how much you plan or visualize, things don't always go as expected. The success you seek feels temporary. Happiness comes and goes, and deep down, something still feels missing. Dissatisfaction lingers, making you question if there's truly a path to lasting peace and fulfillment. At this point, an internal transformation begins. You look within instead of trying to control the external world. A crucial shift occurs. You realize life isn't just happening around you, but within you. Observing your own experiences and seeing how your perceptions shape everything, you understand that how you see the world matters more than the world itself. This understanding begins your liberation. A profound truth emerges. We don't see things as they truly are. We see things as we are. Your perception of situations, people, and challenges isn't objective. It's filtered through your beliefs, fears, and past experiences. Two people can experience the same situation, one feeling peace, the other suffering. What differentiates them is the lens through which they view the world. At this stage, you understand that your suffering doesn't come from external situations, but from your internal reactions. Now, you don't need to react impulsively. Instead of being consumed by anger, fear, or frustration, you observe emotions without identifying with them. You become the observer, not the prisoner of your reactions. This is the turning point toward true peace, which doesn't depend on external conditions. Now you trust life's process. Something wonderful occurs. You feel aligned, in the right place at the right time. Suffering dissolves, and peace becomes your default state. Not because circumstances changed, but because you've transformed your inner world.